Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another live episode of Meet the Experts. My name is 𝐿𝐽𝐫𝐿𝐽, and this is we're close to number 50 now. This is almost 50 episodes. This might be 50. I'm not even sure at this point. We're close. We've stopped numbering. It's too much trouble when you have a cancellation here or a cancellation there. It wreaks havoc on the back end systems. But anyway, what the heck is Meet the Experts, you might be asking? That's a really good question. Business owners have a hard time coming up with video content, right? It's just, I mean, unless they're specifically in the video content creation business or they're content marketers, it's not easy for a lot of business owners just to create video. Either they don't like the sound of their own voice. They don't know how to edit videos. They don't this and that. And we realized that after 8 or 9 years of running a digital marketing agency, that we could help. And we can, and I think the simplest form of video is inspired from podcasts, right? Like just interview people, let them tell their story. People love to tell their story. Business owners love to tell their story and get their name out there, right? Everybody says, "Oh, I just want to get my name out there," right? So this is a great opportunity to do that. We've had some amazing guests. We're looking forward to continuing with more amazing guests like the one I am bringing up shortly here today. Let me tell you a little bit about Eric Kneller. He's got a passion for helping small business owners. And he just came out with a blueprint called the Profit Mastery Blueprint. We're going to talk all about that today. And it's really just how to help people like save on taxes and double their profits and hopefully retire the right way. So I'm sure he's going to tell you that a lot better than I can. So without further ado, let me get my friend Eric up on the screen here. And there he is. Eric, how the heck are you?
I'm doing awesome, Jay. Thanks so much. Appreciate the opportunity to jump on with you.
Awesome. Now, I noticed that in your name there, in your title, and I love this. It's so catchy. But tell us a little bit about what the Profit of Profit is all about.
Yeah, happy to. You know, the prophecy is all about actually stating what is or what's going to be. And so the Profit of Profit comes about because of my background. And I spent close to 15 years in a large format multinational company in a sourcing supply chain role, where our role was to drive value back to the bottom line, all things productivity and continuous improvement. So you do that a few hundred times across hundreds of categories in 10 different countries, and you get reasonably good at predicting what the outcome is going to be based on the process and the methodology that we follow. And bringing that forward, jumping ahead to where we're at now with use of technologies that we have availed to us and what we know about certain things about business in different areas of the country, we can predict with relative accuracy how much profit we can boost a business with. So I came out as the Profit of Profit to get ahead of that.
It's the coolest, catchiest title, and such a good play on words. All right. Well, before we go too far down the rabbit hole of specifically what you do, tell us a little bit more about Eric.
Sure. So now we reside in Sarasota, Florida, and my wife and I always knew we wanted to get down here, but we started in the Northeast. I was in Pennsylvania. She was born in New Jersey. Started with an international multinational company, as I mentioned. It was in pharma nutraceutical. We were in New Jersey at the time. Migrated to Southern Indiana with that company, and then when I retired myself from that space, we started to jump into the small business area. So that got me working with startups to build that first 7 figures, and took us all the way out west. We actually spent almost 3 years full time in an RV, setting up the business development and relationships out in the West Coast. And then we landed in Southern California in San Diego. And everybody always says the same thing about San Diego. They love San Diego. It's beautiful. It is. It's awesome when it's open. When they shut the world off, we decided that as soon as they would allow us, we had to get back to where our family was up and down the East Coast. And we weren't going anywhere cold again. So that's how we got here to Florida. And it was time to kind of press that button and reboot and start another venture.
I love that. Now, you and I just met a few weeks ago virtually, and we talked about this show and getting to know each other a little better and trying to help each other out in our business. But you've been talking to me a little bit about this Profit Mastery Blueprint, and I'm going to just put a banner up on the bottom, the ticker, so that if at any point while you're talking somebody's like, oh, I got to check this thing out, they can go to www.profitmasteryblueprint.com. Tell us a little bit about that. What is the Profit Mastery Blueprint?
Absolutely. It's a culmination of all those experiences in large company and small company, and then bringing together the technology of the times to be able to help small businesses. You know, our real sweet spot is anyone from, say, 5 to 99 employees. Unlike a lot, I know from a marketing perspective, niching down is the best thing to do, but I'm kind of category agnostic and product agnostic when it comes, because we can just help so much. So the parts, the categories within the blueprint are number one, slash taxes, because everybody that I know wants to pay less taxes, or nobody's happy about paying more anyway. So if we can legally show somebody that they're stepping over money that they actually have access to right now, that's the first thing. Everybody starts with slash taxes because it's the fastest path to cash. And then there's the power purchasing. That takes that, what's a 6-step methodology I mentioned from large format, but bringing it down to a place where the small business owner can benefit from that. Obviously, I don't know where everybody's at in a purchasing cycle, but the great thing is they can step in and out of that power purchasing modules exactly where they're at. And there's some shortcuts, some awesome shortcuts too, to help the small business. And then the third category or pillar is the retire right. Now, retiring is a personal subject, right? It's not that the owners want to walk away, but day one, they should, or at least be talking about an exit strategy. We've got some unique and proprietary strategies that teach owners here how to leverage the asset that they have in that business. So they've got an advantage over somebody that doesn't have a business running, to be able to create a much larger retirement account for either themselves or a partner, boost the overall value of the business, and then be able to take that account when they want to, actually tax-free and without some other oversights, the way we set it up. So it's an overall package with those 3 pillars.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, that's those make sense. It just seems like, like a common sense way to attack these things and reach your goals, right? Whatever those may be. Now, you told me recently, I know I've heard you say it, that 9 out of 10 businesses are missing out on programs that are available to them. How the heck how's that even possible?
Well, because of awareness. Okay, so this is something that I deal with in the blueprint a little bit. And there's something called the Othello principle, where if I tell you what you're looking for, you'll see it all over the place. Other people might associate this with the Raz, like once you tell your mind what you're looking for. Well, as an owner and all the people involved with their businesses, let's take owners and CPAs, right, that are working with the owners. They're focused on what they're focused on. So without having the awareness or being able to know what to look for, they're just basically stepping over money. I'll give you a quick example. I say I'm, kind of can help everybody, because I don't know. Who do you know who's hiring? Is it pretty much everybody?
Yeah.
I mean, in a small business, we're watching larger businesses now doing some slashing, but we see everybody's got a, now hiring sign up, right? Well, if everyone that's hiring right now is not screening for work opportunity tax credits, they're just stepping over money. And that's just a program that's available. And the problem is that most people don't know it's there, or don't know how to actually screen candidates for it. So they just leave it on the table. And it's somewhere between $2,400 and $9,600 in credit per hire. So it's just money that they're losing.
No kidding. All right. So that's one. Are there other programs or credits?
Yeah, there's, depending upon the complexity of the business. So if there's property ownership and investment in that property, those create more opportunities. And then, of course, right now, most people have probably gotten a few hundred emails or voice drops, maybe not. So it might be a new one. There's an employee retention credit that is still ongoing as of this time, and it is real. There's multiple reasons people don't take that or know about it. Sometimes they were told correctly when it first came out that if you've got some of the other COVID response money through PPP or through the EIDL process, that you weren't actually going to be able to get the ERC. But the IRS, God love them, changed the rules so many times. And so I encourage people to look into that program right now and see if they're eligible, because there's a lot of resources out there. Of course, we're one of them, but that's one that people can still get right now.
Now, that's the one that says if you kept employees through the pandemic, there's a credit available to you, right?
Yeah, there's multiple qualifiers. It's based on number of employees, and it's going to be W employees outside of owner and family. And the credit it looks over year from 20 to 19 and 21 to 20, 3 quarters. So you hear the number all the time, up to $26,000 per employee. And that is the max. Most people aren't going to be qualifying at that max for every employee. But what we see is somewhere between 10 and 15,000 per employee for companies that qualify. And there's multiple qualifiers that have to do with receipts being down in certain quarter over quarter, or there's other qualifiers to it, like basically anything that had a measurable impact from mandates. There's other ways to qualify. You have to kind of build it all together and take into consideration the other monies you got.
Cool. Okay. No, that's awesome. And I'm sure that's something that somebody should talk to you about. So let's shift gears a little bit to retirement, because when you started talking about retiring right earlier, it kind of got me thinking. I'm in my mid 40s, and I would hope that, 65 still sounds like a pretty good age to maybe retire if I'm lucky. A lot of people work into their 70s, even 80s now. But maybe that's because they didn't look at retirement. But so when we're talking about this profit mastery blueprint, what's the focus of your blueprint when it comes to retirement?
Sure. Great question. Well, within the blueprint I teach it, I'll use the example. So when you go out and you buy your home, do you come up with all the money on your own?
No.
So wouldn't it be great if there was a way to leverage an asset that you have, i.e. your business, which is now even more profitable, bring in and leverage a funding partner to start a much larger retirement account now, as opposed to going with a traditional 401k type, and then put that into a place that is actually safe from the stock market roller coaster. So to put a floor under it, so your 401k doesn't become a 201k. And then in the time, so you're taking the timing you're at right now and just using, it's actually a real close example to what I use inside. If you're going to go a traditional 401k, and we said that the S&P index gave you 7.1% year over year, never went down, right? When you went and took that in retirement, let's say at 65, you are probably going to, after God knows what tax rate, but let's just say it's 35%, you will probably be ending up taking somewhere, maybe about 35K a year out of that particular account. So with the blueprint and the way things come together, everybody's individual is different though, but that same kind of model, using those same numbers as far as getting a year over year with no risk of downside, because we start with such a big front end number, not getting too complex about how that works, you're going to be taking actually closer to about 90K a year out of that same account. So it not only gives you more to start with, more to take in the end, and since we don't know what the tax burden is going to be, it keeps you tax-free with that account in retirement.
Interesting. Oh, that's awesome. All right. You're talking a lot about accounting and numbers now. Are you a CPA?
Oh, no. The beauty of where I sit in this relationship is I want to come alongside your accounting professional or CPA as the owner, because what we do is we offer them a specialized lane for coming alongside and helping the business so they can continue to know what they know. My team and my back office, where we do have all the accounting expertise in-house. We do have the legal oversight. So that's where we can come in and help, because the accountant is, again, busy doing business taxes and payroll taxes and probably staying in that box. And this allows us to come alongside, and you get the benefit. We want to make sure that everything is according to what your accountant has done already. But I'm not a CPA. I don't have to function for it. I'm putting some educational credits together for CPAs on some of these credits for continuing ed, but I'm not a CPA myself.
Awesome. No, so it's cool. So you're really like a guide. You're the Yoda that's coming along and helping people, and probably helping accountants in the process that maybe they don't know all, or CPAs and accountants that maybe they don't know everything that's available. So you're kind of staying on top of the strategies to help everyone along. So that's really cool. All right. If I want just a couple of quick shortcuts to profit inside the blueprint, what are some of those going to look like?
Yeah. Well, the first thing inside the blueprint, within 1 hour, if somebody dug in and went through the first few steps, there's a self-assessment calculator, a profit calculator. So they can go in and just punch in some of their own information about their property or properties, and it's going to scan all of the available programs nationwide and come up with a number right there. So that becomes this profit target that we can work off of. And then the next step in there would be able to validate what those are. And that's kind of where we come together on that and make sure that we can validate what they're looking at. But really, it's that first section or pillar again of slash taxes, because that's the relationship. If you're saving money, it's directly to the bottom line, right? So this is the old adage, penny saved, penny earned, that it ends up being so powerful. And then I have a calculator also set up that once you know what that number is going to be. So let's say you have a $200,000 savings target, and our average nationwide is about $240,000 per location across all businesses. So you put that number into the calculator, and based on what your net margins are, your profit margins, it'll show you exactly over the next 1, 3, and 5 years how much more you have to sell in order to net that back to the bottom line. That's the power of savings and relationship to profit.
That's awesome. You just gave me so many my mind is exploding right now with ideas, and I'm glad we're friends. Maybe you help me clarify some of this stuff. So I'm a sales and marketing guy, right? That's what we do. We help the same people you help, but in a different way. But does the blueprint have anything to do with sales and marketing?
Only in the fact that it helps you as a business owner invest more in sales and marketing. So my strong belief, and you can look across history, the reaction that people are having right now as they're trying to wax their surfboard and get on top of this inflation tsunami, is that they want to pull back. We gotta cut costs, and one of the first things that might be tempting is we got to stop advertising, we got to stop our marketing, we got to pull back. And that's the last thing you want to do, because the people that are investing in their business to stay out there and connect with their clients and show that value in this ever increasingly noisy world are going to be the ones that are there after the storm. So the relationship there is, let's figure out what you can redeploy from your profits and get that into your budget for marketing and advertising.
I'm going to take that sound bite and roll that through everyone I know, because I think you're right. A lot of times people get scared. They're terrified of what's coming down the pike, or what next week or next year is like. But every time something quote unquote disastrous, or things that make people very uneasy or nervous or downright scared come through, the ones that survive are the ones that don't give up. They don't recoil right from that flame. So that's really interesting advice, and hopefully one that people will listen to. So I've only got a couple questions for you left, and I'm gonna ask you in just a few minutes about how people can get access to the blueprint, and some details about the actual blueprint. Obviously, I can go to the website, but let's kind of change gears for a quick second. Tell me a couple things, or maybe just one big thing, professionally, personally, that you're really thankful for.
Not a problem. My faith is the number one thing, because God's a God of second chances, and he reached down in 2008 and pulled me out of a really, really dark and lonely place, and everything changes when the light shines. It's amazing. So that's also what continued to carry. I mean, my wife and I have we're married for 25 years this last year, and that wouldn't have been possible without him. And then now in these times, just as everything that we're going through, there's so much noise, there's so much fear, there's so much doubt and uncertainty. I don't know how anyone would do life without their faith, but I just want to make sure I encourage other people where to find that.
Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, I too, it's so incredible how many guests I've had on the show, and I ask them that, and they all turn to their faith. And, you know, as a believer myself, it's really, it really moves me and really, you know, continues to give me hope. And I know there's a lot of people who may use other things and that works for them. But it's really cool when I hear somebody who's kind of on the same journey as I am. So, all right, we're going to kind of start to wrap this up. So we have the website at the bottom, but when it comes to the blueprint itself, is there any upfront investment or any guarantees that you can make with it? Tell us a little bit more about the purchasing of it.
Yeah, I wanted to launch out and get it out there as much as possible. So you'll see the front end price that's for the launch price right now is $97. So $97, there's lifetime access to the blueprint. There's an offer to jump on a quick accelerator meeting for a small upcharge there, $47. But that gets you access to the blueprint. Take that option. And here's why. Because it's a lifetime access and lifetime guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied and excited and you don't see the value being able to pour back into your business in that profit, then I'm just going to refund it and you can keep access to the blueprint. I wanted to make sure it was going to be available to as many people that needed it.
Awesome. Well, I think, you know, when you're giving away a ton of value, I think you should be compensated in some way. $97 is nothing, especially for any business owner, somebody you're looking to get in front of. I mean, just to find out, they'll probably uncover a lot of things that they didn't know already. So people spend way more than that just to figure out other things. So why not figure out a couple of really important things like slashing your taxes and retiring right, making more profit, and what to do with that money and how to use one vehicle to leverage another vehicle. So really cool. I'm going to ask you one more question about this. And this has been a fantastic interview. I'm so glad we kind of diverted from our usual routine, because I think there's some good questions, good answers, good nuggets that came out of this. Every business has an FAQ section, like a frequently asked questions. There's things that people always ask over and over and over again. And as business owners, I get them, you get them. We kind of are just like, gosh, I wish I could just hit play and there's just a recorded button. So I want to give you a chance on video. What are some of the biggest questions people ask you, or maybe even some objections that people might throw that you can get here on video, you can get them an answer to?
Yeah, sure. I think the number one thing would be my accountant takes care of all of that stuff for me. Mm-hmm. And that shuts off that reticular activating system, because it stops you from looking right there. And what I mean by that is they probably aren't, because again, they're not in that specialized lane. So the first thing that people would say is, well, I don't qualify, or my accountant takes care of all that for me. Mm-hmm. And that's mostly the myth, because they're not taking care of all of these specialized incentives. And then the next objection would probably be, you know, is it gonna work for me, right? Mm-hmm. Because as a business owner, and everybody believes that their independent situation is unique, right? But when it comes to these principles, some that are law and some that are process and methodology, it works for everybody. So it works across the board. Like I was saying before, if you're hiring or gonna be hiring, if you're responsible for buying goods and services and boosting the bottom line for the company, and or if you just want to boost your own exit strategy, there's something in there. So that's probably the biggest things that I would hear. Of course, the complexity of your business dictates how much benefit you're going to get from the blueprint, but there's something for everybody.
Awesome. That's reassuring. I think that's a question that a lot of business owners have, or a lot of business owners try to solve, right? That's really the root of it. Is this going to work for me? I don't care whether it's a health and wellness product or a gym membership or a blueprint on taxes and retirement. People always, that's really what you want to answer for them. And you want to tell them that it will work for them. And I love the fact that if they feel like it didn't work for them, or they're just not going to go through it, at least you have the money back option, which really removes the risk. So that's really good stuff. I will say that I'm going to go through the blueprint So maybe we'll do a follow-up video at some point where I can talk about some of my results with what and my experience with it. I would love to maybe have you back on at some point to talk about that.
That'd be awesome. I'd love that, Jay.
Awesome. Well, Eric, thank you so much for being on today. The Prophet of Profit, Eric Kneller. Thanks for being a guest on Meet the Experts, and we'll talk soon, buddy. Thank you so much.
All right. See you soon. Thanks.
All right. Take care. All right. Yes. Another episode of Meet the Experts complete. Eric's a great guy. You should get to know Eric Kneller. Go to profitmasteryblueprint.com. Check it out. If you're in business, you're a business owner looking to do those things, slash taxes, more profit, or figure out your exit strategy to retire the right way. I'm sure there's going to be lots of really good stuff in there to learn. And if you would like to be a future guest on Meet the Experts, I want to invite you. The only thing we ask is that you have an established existing business, maybe 2, 3, 4, or 30 years in business. And you know how you get customers and clients, but maybe you're just a little gun shy of video. You don't know a lot about how to make videos, record videos, do video, anything, and know that you do need video in this day and age to survive online. It should be a part of your digital marketing strategy. It costs you nothing to come on and be a guest on the show, and we'll give you the whole episode when we're done so that you can use it in your marketing. And if you need help with what do I do now that I have this full episode, we can help you with some options there as well. But it's real simple. All you have to do is go to meettheexpertspodcast.com. That's www.meettheexperts.com. Really new guest onboarding experience, really easy to become a guest. You book a time and we'll sit down and we'll talk about what your episode's going to be like ahead of time. And we'll just determine the date and time for that episode. Really, really simple. Our next episode, I believe we're streaming one Thursday. That's going to be a pre-recorded episode. We don't do that very often, but one of our clients recorded an episode, and I think we're going to stream that out this Thursday. But be on the lookout for a whole new batch of episodes coming soon. And it's been great talking with everybody once again. So we'll see you on the next Meet the Experts. Goodbye, everyone.